is a country located in the southern end of the African continent. It is a multi-ethnic society consisting of racially mixed ancestry ranging from Europe and Asia. My country has 11 official languages, comprising mainly of the English language and Afrikaans language. The Afrikaans language was originated from the Dutch and is spoken by both white and black South Africans. South Africa, as of the census of 2011, has a population of over 51 million people, with 80% being of black African descent. South Africa has the largest economy in Africa and is considered by the World Bank to be an upper middle class income economy. Moreover, South Africa has also enjoyed economic growth and is now amongst the group of newly industrialized countries in the world, as well as a part of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and now South Africa, of advanced economic developing economies. My country also holds, as mentioned by Her Excellency in her very eloquent speech we just heard, the distinction of being the first African country to host a FIFA World Cup, which we all knew occurred in 2010. To prove South Africa's economic power and strength, it was able to stay afloat in light of the recent worldwide recession as a result of its prudent fiscal and monetary policies. To further justify South Africa, it's considered to be a newly industrialized country. It has now shifted its focus from being an agrarian society to one that is heavily industrialized in nature, having a very diverse economy in the areas of agriculture, mining, manufacturing, electricity and water, construction, wholesale, retail, and motor trade, transportation, storage and communication, finance, real estate and business services, government services, and personal services. South Africa is able to generate steady amounts of economic growth from these sectors, which contribute to its growing gross domestic product, GDP. It was during the period of 1993 to 2007 where South Africa experienced non-stop economic growth, which rose by 5.1%. However, GDP is expected to grow, but at a slower rate, from 2.7% to 3.5% to 3.8% during the period 2013 to 2015. My country has also embraced industrial upgrading through the use of information and communications technology, ICT. It has now implemented the Trust Center technology, an initiative to boost the operations and efficiency of the South African Post Office, SAPO. This program was approved under the legislation of the Electronic Communications and Transactions Act 25 of 2002. As much as South Africa has achieved so much economic growth and development, it has and continues to struggle with the issue of unemployment. Of the 51 million citizens living in South Africa, 25% are unemployed. To address this issue of unemployment, My government proposed two policies to alleviate this unemployment dilemma. The first policy entails implementing a targeted wage subsidy, which every citizen of South Africa is entitled to receive, provided that he or she has reached the age of 18 years. The second policy is geared towards immigration reform to encourage the immigration of highly skilled individuals. The policy states that once someone has obtained a postgraduate degree from an accredited institution, he or she will be granted a fast-track visa with an automatic renewal option attached to it. The intention of this policy is to raise the levels of the skilled labor force in South Africa and eventually create a competitive, skill-based, and crime-free South Africa. So, my dear friends, I ask the question again: is industrial upgrading key to economic success in the Republic of South Africa? Certainly. I have provided significant amounts of statistics and facts which have proven this. However, it does not stop at this juncture. Our government has realized the true potential of industrial upgrading and has been very proactive in implementing policies and initiatives not only to boost economic growth and development, but to fulfill the vision of accomplishing developed nation status. All of this information sounds very appealing and exciting, and it seems as though my country is on the right track. True, but my country did not inherit these accomplishments, nor did this happen overnight. And I tell you, there is much to learn from us and much we still have to learn. My country endured moments of unrest, violence, and internal resistance as it battled against the racial segregation system of apartheid between black and white South Africans. This system allowed for white South Africans to have supremacy over the black South Africans. To explain this, I must first introduce, or rather reintroduce, the term the African Renaissance. African Renaissance is a vision that all countries in Africa will overcome the issues such as poverty, corruption, crime, unemployment, and equality, and experience economic and cultural renewal. When I mention this term, I think about one man, my former president, Thabo Mbeki. This term was popularized by him and has since been a household term, not only in my country, but throughout the entire African continent. African Renaissance takes us back to 1994, during our very first democratic election, post-apartheid. At that time, His Excellency Mbeki was the deputy president, and in an effort to promote African Renaissance, he wrote a speech entitled, "I am an African," to the people by pointing out that, and I quote, "Today the weather is bad, but tomorrow the sun will shine." This was in relation to the struggles of apartheid and a declining economy with a dream of a brighter South Africa. Moreover, in April 1997, His Excellency Mbeki further expanded the term African Renaissance and broke it down into the elements of social cohesion, democracy, economic rebuilding and growth, and the establishment of the African continent as a player on the global market. To achieve this, he proposed to invest in education and develop policies to alleviate the overall brain drain among African intellectuals. He also encouraged Africans to appreciate, to treasure their African heritage and culture. This movement has since been passed down from President Beckett to our current regime, His Excellency Jacob Zuma, and will continue to be preached and practiced on a future post-apartheid regimes. Lastly, the final element which is needed to experience the full benefits of industrial upgrading collectively as a continent is through embracing the term Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism is the concept that Africans from the African continent and the diaspora share a common history and destiny, and that social, economic, and political progress can only be obtained through unity. Stemming from this theory lies the establishment of the African Union, which is the largest Pan-African organization in the world. To personify this concept, I mention another distinguished gentleman, which we have already discussed, with whom we all will definitely be familiar and whose birthday we celebrated worldwide just recently. He is the father of our nation, a man who has not only inspired many in my country, South Africa, but all over the world. His name, Nelson Mandela. My dear friends, when we think of Nelson Mandela, we think of an anti-apartheid revolutionary and politician fighting for the freedom of his people in South Africa, and eventually becoming the first black South African president. However, I look beyond that and I see a man who understands, dreams, and preaches the theory of Pan-Africanism to the African diaspora. A man who continues to unify South Africans and all African states in Africa. In conclusion, I wish to leave you with a quote from his inaugural speech after being elected as the President of the Republic of South Africa. The time for the healing of the wounds has come. The moment to bridge the chasms that divides us has come. The time to build is upon us. We know it well that none of us acting alone can achieve success. We must therefore act together as a united people for the birth of a new world. So my friends, let us not only admire his words of wisdom, but put them into action and use the main tool already available to us, which is the African Union. Like the European Union is to Europe, like CARICOM is to the Caribbean countries, and let us, each African state, be its fellow country's keeper. South Africa, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Kenya, Mozambique, Uganda, Nigeria, Tunisia, Ghana, Botswana, and the other states of the African Union not present today. We have to stand as one nation with strategic linkages to foster intra-African trade and in time remove leakages in our respective economies. My brothers and sisters, once this is achieved, the African diaspora can seriously enjoy all of the benefits of industrial upgrading and, moreover, the privilege of being a genuine player in multiple sectors on the global market. As my national anthem advocates, may the good Lord continue to bless and protect Africa. I thank you.